Hey, Howard, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
Awesome, awesome. Listen,
Yes,
I
sir.
heard an awesome testimony you gave earlier, and I would like to ask you if you wouldn't mind sharing it with some of our people out in video land.
Oh, certainly.
You were telling me something about someone in your family that has some phenomenal results
Yes,
based off of the 360 miss.
that's correct.
Great, great. Would you mind telling me that again? That was so phenomenal.
Well, you know, on July the 16th, my sister-in-law was hospitalized with dehydration,
Wow.
and she got to a point where she got very weak and she stopped eating.
Wow. Now, has she been in the hospital for a long time, or how did all this come about?
Well, she was in the hospital. She spent actually 2 weeks in the hospital.
Wow.
And so once she got there, they hooked her up to, well, they were feeding her intravenously because she couldn't eat, she wouldn't eat, and she was non-responsive. So they hooked her up to a feeding tube.
IV.
IV,
Feeding her intravenously.
Yes.
Wow. So now when you guys came to see her, she didn't know who you were telling me, or?
Right. She was non-responsive, and you know, her eyes were open sometimes, and she'd look at us, and it's just like she's looking right through us. In other words, she didn't recognize us.
Wow.
My wife and myself, and you know, she didn't recognize us. She wasn't talking.
Mm-hmm.
She was.
Now you were telling me also that they thought she was going to die and they wanted to send her home, but she was too weak.
Right, because all of her body systems were shutting down because of the weakness of her body and the fact that she wasn't eating. So she started shutting down, and the doctors just didn't see any, you know, they gave up on her pretty much.
Okay.
She had extremely high blood pressure. Her sodium level was extremely high.
Wow.
And they just gave up on her, and they actually put her in a hospice type classification, and they were just trying to get her strong enough to where they could send her home to die.
Where they could send her home to die.
Right, but see now when they were feeding her, tube feeding her, and she couldn't even handle that.
Wow.
Because it was messing up her stomach some sort of way, and she wasn't receiving it, and it wasn't working out.
So now, with all of that was happening, when you came to visit her, you had an idea about the 360 miss, and tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we knew that we had heard other testimonies about 360 miss, and we thought we had a strong feeling that it might help her.
Okay.
Yeah, and we noticed that when we'd go to see her, she spent most of the time sleeping, and her mouth was open all the time. So that provided the perfect opportunity for us to spray her.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, that was everything was in place for us to do that.
Okay.
And, you know, it was a situation where there was nothing to lose and everything to be gained.
Okay.
So once we got the opportunity to do that, then, you know, we
gave her some
spray. Yes.
So how many sprays did you give her, and what happened afterwards?
We gave her a total of 6 sprays.
Okay.
Okay, and we noticed that within about 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yes, within about 5 minutes, she began to change.
So now wait a minute, let's back up a little bit. All this time before that, she was non-responsive?
Non-responsive.
And after 6 sprays, in about 5 minutes,
she
started to respond?
She started to respond.
This is phenomenal.
She opened up her eyes. She recognized me. She called my name.
She called you by name?
Called me by name.
Oh, that's a blessing.
The first time she had did that in the 2 weeks that she had been there. So we decided to go and see her that night to spray her because we were getting ready to leave on a trip.
Oh, okay.
And we were going to be gone for a week. So we figured we want to at least spray her before
leaving.
Before we left.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you sprayed her, and then you left?
Yeah.
And what happened after that? You were gone for a week?
We're gone for a week, and based on the changes that we saw in her after we sprayed her, then I could tell that something was working.
Awesome.
Something was working because she was changing for the better.
Wow. So is this the mist you carry around with you all the time? Do you
Exactly.
have it even with you now?
That's exactly right.
This is what I'm talking about.
This is it right here.
This is it.
That's it.
Wow, the 360, just this mist.
Just that mist.
In about 5 minutes, she was aware. And
She was aware.
Recognized you.
Yeah, exactly right. Her eyes cleared up.
Just from this.
From that.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Well, tell me some more about what happened. I mean, this is phenomenal. I mean, you told me once, but I'm hearing it again. It's like this is rich. But when you came back, tell me what happened. How
Well, I told my wife before we left. I said, you know what, Carolyn? I said, I believe that by tomorrow morning, she's going to be eating.
Wow.
Because I just had based on the changes that we saw,
dramatic.
I felt that this was going to do the job.
Okay.
You know, and so I told Carolyn, I said, when we come back, or not actually when we come back, but by tomorrow morning, I believe she's going to be eating, that her digestive system is going to be working again.
Right, right.
And that she's going to continue to get better.
Okay.
And that's exactly what happened.
Wow. Now, did you guys get news of that while you were gone, or how did you?
You know what? We didn't even call back while we were gone for that week.
Really?
Yeah, we felt so confident that that was going to happen.
Awesome.
That we just waited until we got back in town, and then we called. And sure enough,
wow.
We got the report that she was eating solid food.
Really?
She was eating. She was asking for food. She couldn't get enough, and she was eating solid food, and that her condition was steadily getting better. She was improving all the time.
So now,
and she stabilized.
How many times had you sprayed her? And only the one time, or was it 2 times?
We sprayed her the one time.
One time.
Right. Six spurts or 6 sprays on that one occasion, and there was no more spraying for that the whole week while we were gone.
Let me get this straight. So you sprayed her 6 times.
Yes.
She woke up.
Not 6 different times, but
yeah, for 6, 1 serving.
Yes.
We'll call it 1 serving.
1 serving.
So she woke up. She recognized you.
Yes.
She called your name.
Yes.
And within the next day or 2, she got rid of the intravenous feeding, and she started to eat regular food.
Well, from what we understand, the next day she asked for food. Yes.
Wow.
And this had not happened during the 2 weeks that she was in the hospital. That had not happened.
That's incredible.
And she woke up, she asked for food, they started feeding her, and I think it was the next day that they sent her home. And while she was home, then her appetite and everything continued to increase. And she continued to eat. She was getting stronger.
Wow.
And she continues to improve to this day.
Now, has she had any more of this mist since then?
Yes, because when we got back, we went by to see her at home, and we took some of the mist with her, not with her, with us, to leave with the family to continue to spray her. And we left instructions for them to spray her at least twice a day.
Wow. Now, have you talked to her recently, or?
Oh, yes.
How is she doing now?
Well, she's doing great. We were over there last night, and she was eating. I mean, she was, when we got there, she was asleep. She woke up while we were still there, and she said she was hungry.
Wow.
So my wife, her sister, went in to feed her, and she was grabbing for the plate. And I mean, this is solid food. This is not pulverized or
just regular food.
Just
like
regular food.
And she appeared to be in her right mind. She was talking. She
absolutely
recognized you and your wife and everything.
Absolutely.
All from the 360 mist.
From the 360 mist.
Family, I tell you what, prayer and a phenomenal product like this, there's no limits. We don't know what all this can do, but I tell you, this is one phenomenal testimony. And Mr. Curry, I really want to thank you for taking the time to share that with us. I'm sure that would encourage and help a lot of people.
My pleasure,
Thank you,
sir.
my brother.
Yes.
You're a blessed man.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.